Valve continues to do the crazy when it comes to the Steam Deck. We've got the world's first PS5 8K 60 FPS game, and we got some details on Intel's upcoming next-gen CPU and GPU. Let's get into hot news, everybody. I'm your Brett host. We're going to be going over the hottest tech news that I can find on the internet, which, again, I just have to apologize for going nearly another week without releasing an episode. It's been Monday. That's when you've been getting hot news. And last week I was just slammed with getting ready for the upcoming charity live stream that we have on Wednesday, which is the Cannonball for the Cure, where we're going to be driving from New York City to LA while trying to raise funds to cure my son's rare disease. It turns out that me as one man cannot run two YouTube channels, Twitch stream, and be a event coordinator all at the same time. Who knew? Not me, until last week. I suck at all of this. But not only are we trying to raise funds, we're also giving you incentive to do so as well. We have tons of prizes. We're at $15,000 in total prizes. We've got 5 gaming PCs that we're gonna be giving away, 3 GPUs that we're going to be giving away, as well as 1 high-end gaming laptop with Ryzen 9 and an RTX 3070. It's going to be a massive event. We've got celebrity YouTube appearances, we've got big sponsorships, we've got a ton of PCs that we're giving away. It's going to be an epic event, and I can't wait to see you guys there. But before we get into the actual hot news, just a little bit more housekeeping about the upcoming charity stream. I doubt I'm going to be able to get many hot newses out while I'm currently on the road. I end up in LA on Friday, but then I have to drive back all by myself. I have no idea when I'm going to be able to get back because I'll actually have to sleep since I won't have co-pilots helping me out to return the car home. Speaking of the car, we got it wrapped. Shout out to Speed Pro Pittsburgh South for actually doing the wrap on this. But one of the things that I want to show you guys is, oh, what is that? Sponsored by LTT. LTTstore.com, my friends, is sponsoring this year's charity live stream. I'm heckin' excited for that. You'll see more of that as it happens on Wednesday. And then lastly, in case you want to pick up some exclusive limited time merch for the event, for the Cannonball for the Cure, I've got mine right here. It's a little different because this was just a test print, but the official merch is now live at the link in the video description in case you want to check it out. We've switched suppliers, so now we're at bonfire.com/UFDcure. All this helps to put on the production costs of the event. I very much appreciate it. You got the sponsors on the back, you got the dope Cannonball for the Cure design on the front, and a few different colors. I tried to make it as cheap as I possibly could, but with it being tri-blend quality as well as with all the print colors, it came out really expensive for the shirt. We're not making much money on these things. They're just heckin' expensive to get this done, but I didn't want to do anything that wasn't a good quality shirt, and I don't want to do anything more besides give you good quality hot news right now. So let's talk about Valve and how their latest iteration of Proton on GitHub supports DLSS for the Steam Deck upcoming for that. This is really intriguing. Obviously, Valve's been doing a lot of stuff for the Steam Deck, trying to get Linux ready in preparation for that launch. We've got anti-cheat now on it, which was unprecedented just a week ago, and now we have something like DLSS being supported, which, admittedly, this isn't the first time that DLSS has been supported via Proton. It's actually been done previously with the Vulkan API. However, this change means that they're actually doing it with DX12, which is really curious considering the fact that Proton now has it and Valve is developing this, even though the Steam Deck only has AMD's SoC. The fact that Valve is pushing forward Proton in all of the areas means that they are really trying to make Linux gaming completely viable. Could we see Valve and Microsoft go toe-to-toe for the future of the gamer? It certainly seems like that. Having DLSS support on Proton on DX12 games is actually pretty gosh dang huge. You love to see it from Valve. I'm actually really happy about this. You might not be happy about this next article, which is you can get your first 8K 60 game on the PS5. You probably don't have an 8K 60 TV. I do, because I got one sponsored by LG like 2 years ago now? No, a year ago. How long is this timeline? Anyways, The Tourist, which is a game that's already been available on Switch and Xbox, can run at 8K. That's what it renders at, even though the PS5 can't output to 8K, even though Sony says it's going to come out via patch. But in case you wanted to know what the first PS5 8K game was, The Tourist, which just from this looks like a different Minecraft. I don't know anything about the gameplay, I'm just commenting on the graphics. And we won't be commenting on AMD's Threadripper anytime soon because Chagall, which is supposed to be the next gen Ryzen 5000 series Threadripper chips, has been delayed according to leakers. It was supposed to launch in November, now probably beginning of next year, if at all. Maybe AMD is just gonna switch over to like Zen 4 Threadripper. Would that be a possibility? Probably not. We'll just have to wait and see if that ever comes out. But you don't have to wait and see no more. I know what your favorite part of hot news is. It's Cryptostonks. So let's get into it. Bitcoin up 0.6% on the day to 47,000 in the middle of the day. It decided to just, erect itself up into the air right around $49,000, coming down a little bit since then to sit at under 48,000. Ethereum down 0.4% on the day to be at $3,300. Dogecoin up slightly 1.4% to sit at 22 cents. GameStop going down slightly over the past week while I was not paying attention to it, up 0.82% on Friday, but closed at 176.90. AMC closing at 38.46, which is up 1% on the day, but if we look, it's been trending downward ever since the middle of September. Cryptostonks not really doing much, but you know what stunk is doing much? Tesla. I don't know anything about the stock because they just released these numbers over the weekend, but Tesla hitting record deliveries, especially in Q3 of a year. They managed to sell 241,000 Teslas in Q3 of 2021, which means that they are right around half of what GM sold at 446,000. Considering that Tesla really only makes 4 different cars and 2 of them weren't on sale for the vast majority of this past quarter, that's actually really remarkable. Hitting half GM's numbers with simply 2 cars, and GM's down 33% year on year, whereas Tesla's up roughly 100% year on year. Obviously, a lot of this having to do with Tesla's just ability to change on the fly when it comes to the chip shortage that's going on. They've been able to make do with different parts and rewrite code for different chips that they've had to put into their cars. Elon Musk has been very vocal about this, and it does seem to be paying off. Tesla still can't meet the demand of people who are trying to buy their Model 3s and Model Ys, and it's definitely showing with them continuing to ramp up their sales numbers. Also being reported is Tesla produced its 1 millionth battery pack at the Gigafactory in Nevada, which is a great milestone for them. Also, Tesla now entering into the African market with the world's first African supercharger. Long time coming, especially since Elon Musk is from South Africa. I would have loved to have seen Teslas in South Africa. It's not happen. This supercharger is in Morocco, which there's already Teslas in Morocco. They just haven't been able to supercharge, and if they ever wanted to get it serviced, they'd have to ship it off to another country. So not everybody's going to be able to access this, but it does mean that they're finally accessing the African continent, which I am absolutely in favor of. And Google's in favor of you using Google Chrome, okay, and you using Google search, with it being reported in some law documents about the bitterness that's going on between Google and Microsoft when it comes to antitrust violations, and Google's Alphabet's being sued for this. And they were just like, hey, listen, do you know what the #1 most searched term on Bing is? It's Google, all right? People want to use Google. When people are forced to use Bing on Edge, they Google Google on Bing. They Bing the Google with Google. People use Google because they choose to, not because they're forced to, okay? This is hilarious. If it's true, which obviously you have to take it with a grain of salt because Google is saying it, doesn't even matter if it's under a court of law because you can get away with whatever you want when you're a multi-billion-dollar company. Anyways, it's hilarious if it's actually true. Part of this showdown, not really, just this is actually just happening in a good coincidental time. Google search shutting down support on Internet Explorer 11. It's over. It's done. No more. Good night, sweet prince. Your time has come. Now let's talk about another beef that Google's been finding itself in. How is that possible? You got multi-billion-dollar companies fighting all over the gosh dang place. Anyways, NBC Universal was fighting with Google about getting more money from Google to put everything on YouTube TV. YouTube TV was like, we're not doing that. And NBC was like, okay, fine, we're gonna make a website that makes fun of you for not letting us do it. And then they came to an agreement and nothing's gonna change because that's what happens when billion-dollar companies fight. Everything is the same because they're all just trying to make more money. Samsung trying to make more money in a different way. They reported previously that they're going to remove ads from their native apps on Samsung devices, and they have officially done that. As of October 1st, you can no longer find many ads that are going into the Samsung device apps, whatever the heck they're called. It's not there anymore, except for in Samsung Pay, where there's sponsor posts, which kind of makes sense because it's a payment app and they want you to buy stuff. So that one's still there, but the other ads are definitely not. And what is here now is Xbox and Microsoft actually doing a really good thing for the community, adding accessibility tags to their video games in the Microsoft or Xbox store. This is part of an ongoing just push by Microsoft to make gaming and their platforms more accessible for the disability community, as well as other people who just can't use devices in neurotypical ways. And so part of the accessibility showcase is putting those tags on video games. It's just going to be a little pop-up with a little extra tag. I love to see it. A new spotlight in the store for accessible games, having those tags, with the director of accessibility at Xbox saying, we look at this as an opportunity to up-level the industry a little bit. Absolutely in favor of this. Good job, Microsoft. I will applaud you. Thank you. But while Microsoft's making things easier for everybody, USB wants to make things even more complicated. At least I think they do. I don't even know what the move here. It sounds good on paper, but it's not necessarily all that great because they're coming out with new logos to help you decide which cable to buy. You got USB 40 gigabit per second, you got USB 240 watt, then you got certified USB charger 240 watts. So these are all the new things that you see. They obviously kind of look a little bit alike. And my question is it going to be on the cable? Is it going to be on the freaking cable every single time? Will I be able to see this on the cable wherever it is? Because you know what I don't see when I'm digging through my ream of cables, my giant box of USB-C, USB-A cables? This. I see this on the packaging. I don't see it on the cable. This helps me none after the fact when I'm trying to figure out, is this a charging cable? Is this a data cable? I have no freaking clue. Print it on the cable, please. And print into our imaginations what Intel's next gen GPU is gonna look like. That's actually what's happening from Moore's Law is Dead with him commissioning renders of the next gen Intel GPU of the Alchemist GPU. You can see here the renders of it looking very similar to the leaked photos that have already come out about that, but instead in a silver design. Let me know what you think of the Intel Alchemist GPU down below in the comments. I want to hear what you think, but also with that being reported that it's potentially delayed until the second quarter of 2022, which is a little bit further than I think a lot of people were anticipating these GPUs to come out, at least the desktop models. We likely won't see these anytime soon. Is this because of supply shortage with TSMC? Is this because Intel's not ready yet because their drivers suck? Is this because of any other reason? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. But we also have good looks at Alder Lake packaging for their CPUs, the i9-12900K, looking like this bad boy, which I gotta admit is a huge step down from the 11900K. This packaging, pretty solid. My favorite packaging so far is definitely the 9900K with the dodecahedron. I think Intel, regardless of their pricing, regardless of their performance, they were knocking it out of the park when it came to packaging. AMD stepped it up first with Threadripper, and then now Intel's coming to the plate, and I think this is a step backwards in box design. That's just my thoughts on it. How much does it really matter? Probably not much to anybody at all, but it being listed on Amazon with packaging. We also got teasing of a bunch of new Z690 motherboards from a whole slew of different manufacturers, and we got some teasing of overclocking that's happening on these chips, including DDR5 being at 8,000 megahertz. These might actually be monstrous chips. We're gonna have to wait until benchmarks come out, hopefully next month, for us to find out what these chips are capable of. And that's gonna be the end of this episode of Hot News, my friends. Don't forget that we have the upcoming charity stream this Wednesday. I am going to try to get an episode of Hot News out tomorrow, but in case I don't, I will see you Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. In case you want to pick up merch to support us for the event, you can do so at the link in the video description. I appreciate everybody's support as we've been doing this, and hopefully next year I have a little bit more help on the YouTube side of things so that the event management can go a little bit smoother, and that when I focus on that, it's not taking me away from everything else. Anyways, I'll see you sometime soon this week. Chip, chip, Cheerios. I forgot this is the best news with breakfast. How could I forget that? I'm rusty. Oh, crud.